Greg Gutfeld has been on vacation ever since the Alex Pretti shooting has occurred, and of course he comes back to Fox News to find Jessica Tarlov making the same tired arguments now as she was with the good situation. So of course what we're going to see is Greg Gutfeld taking all of this garbage apart in very succinct manner. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
I brought some pictures for you of some of the guys that had been let out on the streets. This guy, his name is German, homicide, negligent manslaughter, not sure why he was let out. Edwin, lewd or lascivious acts with a minor. Lenny, sex offense against a child. These guys let out on the street. I think it's not value added when you release these guys on the street and don't work with Trump.
Absolutely. I have said this consistently from the beginning, that I think that you could take a lot of heat or attention off of your cities if you hand over the worst first, which is how this was supposed to go. The problem is that it hasn't been executed like that. And the idea that we are just going to move past what has unfolded over the last few weeks, including what happened to Renee Good getting 3 bullets in her, knowing that she was alive for 8 minutes after that happened but didn't receive medical care, or what happened to Alex Pretti over the weekend, and start talking again about how Democrats are the problem, and it's all of you guys organizing online and your vast conspiracy to make sure that all the bad hombres can stay here. We don't want bad hombres to stay here. We want regular hombres who may have entered illegally but are living good, productive lives in America, a lot of them with American children, to be able to stay, and also for American citizens to not be detained and also to not be shot.
Excuse me, nothing you said matters. Every single
Welcome
thing,
back, Greg.
No, everything you said does not matter.
Because
it doesn't. Because everything you mentioned are the consequences of the. Oh, you go ahead and scoff. How did we get here? Pull back. How did we get here? An open border that let millions in, and you guys didn't give two
Alex
F's
Pretti
about. Okay,
snuck right through that border.
All right. We had dozens of deaths where you didn't say shit. Jocelyn Nungary, Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, Molly Tibbetts. I'm going to just do it because this is just, I can't believe that we're still talking about this stuff. Here's 3 pages of women who have been murdered by illegal aliens in the last 7 or 8 years. The 7 or 8 years that we've been here talking about this and mocked over it. When we showed the embassy, showed the border being overrun, and people laughed at us. And now you're here. It's like you're the maid trying to clean up a mess, and somebody there is staring at you going, oh, you got to clean it up better. No, you made the mess. This is the Democrat Party's mess that we are trying to clean up. And you're saying, wow, these ICE agents are using terrible language. We don't care. I'm bored by this. I'm absolutely bored by this. I'm bored by the Nazi stuff. I'm bored by the concerned people in the media. They were not concerned when innocent women were raped and murdered. They didn't care about the 50 who died when they were incarcerated under Obama. They didn't care about the 27 or 30 that were shot under Obama, but now they care now. You deserve no attention on this. You deserve no credibility on this. It's actually comical because here's my feeling. It seems like you're ready for another one. You had Good, that went for a couple of weeks. You had this guy, went for a week or so. You're going to need a third one. This is what this is about, because this is what creates the motivation for this drama. This drama that could have been prevented if you guys just listened to the sensible people. Why is it that the cities that aren't sanctuary aren't having any violence? Why is it that the rate of violence in what's the name of the city? Minneapolis is 5 to 7 times higher than cities that are 3 or 4 times larger? Why is that? You guys are always feigning this performative ignorance since you don't understand things. You never explain your own ignorance. Why is there so much violence in Minneapolis and not in Texas? Well, see, there are different people. There are people who, when they hear an awful crime, when Molly Tibbetts is murdered, they think of their wife, they think of their kids, they think of their sister, they think of their mother. What do Democrats think about? There's a step before they even think about their family. They think, how does it affect my public persona? How does it affect my potential politically? How do I deal with this so that I get instant gratification and empathy? We don't think like that. We don't care. You can call me a monster that's saying all these people get deported. I don't care. I don't care about any of this performance anymore, Jessica. It's done. And you know what? Neither does Trump. People are voted for the law. They want the law. If you want to cry about murders and rapists, do it on your own time.
just really quickly, a bunch of Democrats.
Yeah, because you didn't get enough chance. Since I've been gone spewing this nonsense, I'm now back to correct the record that people need to hear.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Once again, Greg Gutfeld is on fire in that segment. But let's go ahead and go back to the beginning, because you have Jessica Tarlov saying, you know what? This whole deportation effort, it was supposed to be getting out the bad hombres. And guess what? The Democrats are all on board with that. Nobody wants bad hombres in this country. However, of course, their own protests have proven otherwise, because every time ICE is going after one of these awful people, someone who's committed an atrocious act in this country, you still have the protests. You still have people gathering and trying to stop the collection of these bad hombres. Okay, so yeah, you don't have a leg to stand on with that portion of the argument. But Greg Gutfeld brings up something that is very poignant, and that, of course, is the simple fact that we are now trying to fix the Democrats' mess. The border was left open for 4 years, and what's the result of that? Now we have to go out and collect everybody and deport them, okay? And this is a messy process. But also, of course, what are we dealing with now in Minnesota, Minneapolis, right? All of these mass protests that are getting increasingly violent. And why is that? Because Republicans, Donald Trump, ICE, etc., are dealing with the situation on the ground. Minnesota does not want to allow ICE to collect all of these bad hombres from the jails. And rather than, hand them over, they're going to release them back out into the public. So ICE has to go into the public to grab them. And so once again, we're trying to fix a problem that the Democrats, are creating. Okay. And let's not forget this simple fact, right? 77 million people voted for Donald Trump to close the border and deport illegal immigrants. All right, 77 million people. That was the mandate. But of course, the big issue that comes with fixing problems is you still have all of the naysayers out there. You have to remember, even though we had video evidence of people streaming across our border by the millions, there were many on the left, many Democrats who didn't believe it. And it's like, just open your eyes and look at the video. This is happening every single day. Joe Biden is lifting up the barbed wire fences and allowing people to stream underneath them. The border security was ordered to stand down and allow people just to come into the country. All right. We all saw these videos, but the naysayers were out there saying, oh, this isn't true. This isn't really an issue. And they only acknowledged it when their political futures were at risk. All right. But of course, by then it was too late, because the people were already here, which of course suggests to me that it was all by design, as we all know. Okay. And now we're seeing the same type of thing happen here. The Democrats are denying all of the violence that is happening at these peaceful protests against getting out these bad hombres. Okay. And then you have all of these situations happening like Good and Pretti. And of course, now the left is totally outraged, even though they would be completely avoidable if Democrats would simply allow ICE to do their job. But of course, the last point that Greg Gutfeld is making is that the Democrats don't care about American citizens. They don't care about the people who've lost their lives to all of these violent, criminal, illegal aliens, right? They weren't out there protesting for them. They weren't out there saying, you know what, get these people off our streets. No, they're out here protesting to keep them in the country. And all of this is because, as I've said many, many times before, the illegal immigrant is the new mascot of the Democrat Party, because they're the new voter base. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.